Number one strategy, deliver an epic event. That is my number one marketing strategy, because that is going to be what makes people want to come back more, and what is going to have all of your attendees turn into raving fans and ambassadors of your event. So that is one thing. Beyond that, I would say, you have your strategies that you would use for anything else. Social media, paid ads, if you want, if that's a fit. Personal outreach, I love for smaller, intimate events like retreats, for example. I absolutely love personal outreach like a phone call or a really genuine, authentic voice message. I find really works well. It really depends on the profile of the event. But yeah, those are a few off the top of my head.
Hello, Tanya Lopez. Thank you so much for joining me on the Wake to Wealth show. I want to give you a minute. I've been on your website seeing the amazing work that you are doing in the event space, done for Mind Valley and all of that great stuff. Can you please start off by just introducing yourself to our audience before we dive into having a fun conversation?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. So my name is Tanya Lopez. I am an event strategist and an experience designer. So I work with brands, coaches, primarily in the personal growth space, to design and deliver epic events and experiences.
Love it. I love it. I want to talk about events because this is actually how I started my business, through events. And I remember, doing my first event, and I loved the event, but the run-up of the event was absolutely chaotic, which I know is, part of the magic that you bring. Now, before we jump to events, I know that you did a big transition. So let's just talk about what life looks like before you transitioned to events. So what is it that you were doing previously and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, so I started out my career in PR and corporate communications. I worked in corporate, like working for companies like NBC Universal and Nike, really big, high profile companies. Then I moved to events, which was pretty crazy because I won a contest for the world's most awesome job. A global contest, which was so random. And that's how I got into events. And now so I worked in event production for about 10 years, organizing events all over the world, 6 years of that with Mind Valley. And in the past few years, since COVID, actually, I've shifted into consulting and strategy and working with brands around events and experience design and some business coaching as well.
So why events? And for coaches, what do you think it is about events that you think coaches should wake up to and do more of?
Yeah, I work in events, not exclusively for coaches, primarily anyone that's working within the personal growth or wellness space and industry. I think that events are just so powerful for that face-to-face connection that just cannot be replaced with Zoom or, virtual events. I feel, and I mean, of course, I'm biased, but that face-to-face connection is it's just so powerful. And what I have seen is possible when you bring together a group of people and you guide them through a really beautiful experience, a beautiful transformation. You focus on connection and community. It's just so beautiful and it's so powerful. And that's what I really love about events. I think they are so powerful for helping to build your business, your brand, and your community.
Yeah, 100%. I remember starting off and it was the first thing, like I said, and it was just something that I just decided to do. I mean, my background is in acting. So as an actress, I love being on stage, and I sort of figured I don't know how to sell online. I don't know how to sell at all. I don't know how to do any of this online stuff, but I do know how to hold my own on a stage. Now, knowing how to hold your own on a stage is very different to actually creating an event that has a great experience, like you said, where you're able to connect with people and build a community from that. So I want to talk about those three key aspects. What are some strategies that you would say surrounding, a great experience for an event? So let's say that the ideal person that you are speaking to in this moment is is a person in business. So they're a coach or a consultant and they plan to sell something. What sort of experience should we be thinking about?
Yeah. So I always start with my clients' intentions. What are your intentions? What is it that you want to create? What is it that you want people to experience? What is it that you want people to walk away with? How do you want them to feel? Right? That for me is where we start. And then from there, you can create the agenda, the content, find the venue, right? You align everything to that. But it's really important to start with the intention. Now, you mentioned selling something. And definitely financial goals can be one of the intentions. Usually the people that I find, the people that are drawn to working with me because they are in the personal growth transformational space, they're really looking to have an impact. They're really looking to bring their work into a deeper way. They're looking to create that community, right? So we look at what those different intentions are, and then we design the experience from there, right? So what that looks like can vary, but I would say like a few pillars are, baking in that community and that connection that I mentioned. Definitely weaving in whatever your financial goals are. What I love to do is to take an event and look at different touch points throughout the event. And some of the touch points might be obvious, like the opening of the event, the closing of the event. But you basically you identify 5 to 10 touch points, and then you have fun and get really, really creative on how can I just innovate and really wow people in this particular touch point. So how do I make the opening really connective, really immersive? How do I, because people really remember the opening and the closing. So I love to put a lot of special emphasis on that and making that really strong and really powerful. So those are a few quick ideas.
I love how powerful. Have you seen community? And, so you've talked about community, you can have a WhatsApp group, you can have a Facebook group, you can have a call where the community comes together. But is there another way to think about community, perhaps beyond the event and after the event? Anything you can share in that respect?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that for me, again, everything starts with intention. So imagine if community just kind of happens on its own. Imagine what's possible if you actually intentionally and consciously design that, right? With the intention of, I want to build community. So that could be physical meetups around the world. That could be a continuity program that extends after the event. There's so many different things that you could do. It could be an online group. It could be online calls that continue afterwards. To give you, to help highlight the importance of this point, when we would survey people who came to A-Fest, we had people that sometimes came 5, 6, 7 times. And when we would ask them, what is it that has you to keep coming back this many times? It wasn't the speakers. It wasn't the exotic destinations. It was the number one reason that they said was community. The event had become their way of connecting with their favorite people. So when you can be that bridge and that vehicle to help people meet their people and to be that place that you get to reunite with your favorite people, like that just makes you absolutely priceless. And so that's an angle and way that you can think about it is like, how do I consciously facilitate connections within this group and serve as the vehicle for these connections?
Oh my God, you are making me feel like I need to go back to doing my live events again. This is just so exciting. Yeah, because I'm seeing the magic as you're speaking. I can see what happens as a result of the experience, the connection, the community. Now, I want to segue into an area that I'm not sure if this is part of what you would consult with people on, but I know that you'll probably have advice. And I know that people are thinking one of the biggest questions would be, Tanya, how do I fill this? How do I fill my event? Can you share some strategies that, knowing that you work on, large scale events, and obviously we're talking to people who are probably at the 6-figure mark already or approaching that or even 7 figures, what are some strategies that you think are great at filling events?
Yeah, I would say one of the best strategies is word of mouth. Word of mouth, people walking away from the event saying, that was the best event I've ever been to, and I want to go back and I want to bring all my friends and family with me. Like, we literally had that happen so many times. So number one strategy, deliver an epic event. That is my number one marketing strategy, because that is going to be what makes people want to come back more, and what is going to have all of your attendees turn into raving fans and ambassadors of your event. So that is one thing. Beyond that, I would say, you have your strategies that you would use for anything else. Social media, paid ads, if you want, if that's a fit. Personal outreach, I love for smaller, intimate events like retreats, for example. I absolutely love personal outreach like a phone call or a really genuine, authentic voice message. I find really works well. It really depends on the profile of the event. But yeah, those are a few off the top of my head.
Let's talk about some strategies for now turning this event into a source of revenue, right? Because we know that if you're doing this as a business owner, then, at the end of the day, you don't want to walk away from your event out of pocket. You want to either break even or have some sort of income coming in. So, I know what sort of offers that I have made in the past, but as you're the one who is my guest here, I would like to hear, your thoughts about what are some strategies or some advice that you have regarding creating or making an offer, or even other revenue sources that you have come across from live events?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, I think, is to have the mindset that you absolutely can make great money off of events. I feel like there's this sort of stereotype, especially around retreats, where people do it because they love it, but they don't necessarily see it as something that is going to be a big profit driver for their business. I mean, you even said it. You said, well, you want to at least break even or make a small amount of profit. I mean, I scaled one single event to $1 million in revenue. Now, the events that I've worked on are more focused on the experience and the transformation, right? There's a lot of other people that do enrollment events where the purpose of the event is basically to sell. That's not my area of specialty. But within the transformational event space, there's still lots of opportunity for you to be highly, highly profitable. And I'll give you a few ideas on that. So one mistake I see people make is they focus on getting all their revenue from ticket sales. And they don't make enough of a profit margin on their ticket sales. So one is that you want to figure out what kind of profit you have, and you want to make sure that you are pricing your ticket tiers accordingly, right? So I like to tier tickets where you have maybe, let's say if you're selling 200 tickets, the first 50 are at a certain price point, the next 50 are another price point, and you rise. So you will have revenue on the front end with ticket sales, but you also want to have back end sales, right? So whether this is enrolling people into your coaching program, whether this is offering some sort of continuity program of how the group can stay connected, whether it's offering some additional, workshops, whether it's letting speakers, a few very strategic, carefully selected speakers, sell from the stage, where then you can make an affiliate or commission fee off of. Sponsorships are another way. I have one client that, she gets $500,000 in sponsors for her event because she has a very, very targeted, high profile demographic for her event. So yeah, those are a few different revenue streams that you can look at. And I would say get creative and definitely look at revenue beyond just your ticket sales.
Yeah, wonderful. I love it. Brilliant. So knowing that you build, these 6 and 7 figure events, what is for you personally as Tanya, and obviously this podcast is Wake to Wealth, I can see how you've helped people wake to wealth, but what was the defining moment for you when you saw and thought, oh my goodness, now I am able to wake up wealthier? What does that mean to you, and what was that? Just take us on that journey of that defining moment for yourself.
I actually have a few moments come to mind. I would say that the first definition of wake to wealth for me is not necessarily financially related. It's the moment where I'm like, wow, I love my life. I love my work. I love the impact that I'm having. I can't believe that this is my job or that I get paid for this, right? Like that for me is the first thing that comes to mind of like true wealth, because I've made, I worked in corporate for very big companies making six figures. And there were times when I did not feel wealthy. I felt burnt out. I felt unhappy. I felt like I would have sleepless nights of like, am I ever going to meet my purpose and my potential? Like this can't be it. And so, yeah, for me, it's really getting to a place. And I would say discovering events and my absolute passion for organizing transformational events that have such a beautiful impact on people and seeing the transformations that come out of that for me was really a defining moment of like, wow, I found my thing. And I'm so grateful that I get to do this work in the world and that I get to help. Like now I'm in a position where not only do I do this work, but I help other people do this work. And so I feel like the ripples are just so far and wide, and that's just the best feeling.
Absolutely. Gosh, I love that so much, because for me, true wealth is when you can reach back and help somebody else up, help them up. And that's exactly what you are doing, which is just incredible. We've come to the point of Wildcard now, and Wildcard, for anybody who's listening for the first time or watching for the first time, and even Tanya doesn't know what Wildcard is, but I have a series of questions, and I'm going to ask you, Tanya, to just choose a number between 1 and 5, and any number you choose, I will be asking you that question. And these questions are plucked from our community and just questions that have come in that I feel you will be able to answer. So,
okay, let's go with number 3. I'm feeling 3.
Aha, wonderful. Okay, so number 3 is, Tanya, what is the best strategy for selling out your event consistently? Year after year?
You already heard my answer. Focus on delivering an epic event, an epic experience, just really put the intention and the emphasis on like, how can I deliver the most amazing experience? How can I just wow people as much as possible and really weave that intention in throughout the event? That for me is the thing that is always going to work.
Yeah, 100%. So don't focus on profits, don't focus on money, just focus on delivering at the highest level, because that will sustain your business.
And I believe that the profits will come. When you focus on the experience and you deliver something amazing, the profits will come.
Wonderful. Tanya, if people want to find you, where is the best place to find you?
My website is tanyalopez.com and my Instagram is Tanya Christina.
I love that. And just to say, it's Tanya Lopez with a Z, am I right?
Yes. And Tanya Christina without an H, because a lot of times people think there's an H in Christina.
That's fine. Do you know what? We will just link everything below the video in this podcast so people can just click through. But please go ahead, everybody. Watching this, listening to this, please find Tanya. Let Tanya know you found her from watching her here on the Wake to Wealth show. Tanya, it has been wonderful being somebody who has done plenty of events, both my own events or being part of other people's events as a guest, as a speaker, or just in the audience. I have learned a ton just from hearing it from you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Amazing value. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about events, so this has been an absolute joy for me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.